Hey guys, welcome back to the cave. I'm here with the usual cave dwellers, Jan and Carl. What I wanted to talk about today, what I want to know is what does it take to put on a production like this? What do we need, and where the hell are my headphones?
Yeah, well, I'll
want
get to the
full podcast aesthetic.
the big
Sure,
ones over here.
Yes, big.
That's what all the
overhead.
cool kids are doing.
It does seem that way.
Okay, so
Yeah?
I'll get back to that.
Okay.
I'll get back to that. You know, we'll create some tension within the podcast.
Yeah, we must.
Some
It'll
audience
build.
retention. But yeah, so what does it take to put on from a gear point of view? Look, the bare minimum is a cell phone, right?
Yeah,
But
That's not what we're doing.
not what we're doing. And it's not what a professional podcast looks like these days, because quality is really, really important to viewers, right?
Yeah.
So this kind of thing, it's how long is a piece of string? How big is our budget? We could add a lot of production quality for a lot of money. But the idea is to find the sweet spot of how much gain you can make with the budget you got, right?
Yeah.
So Rode mics like this, you'll see them all over the place. They're pretty standard. They do an okay job. Great idea to have a standing mic. Why we don't use lapels is because these are just better.
Also fits the podcast aesthetic.
Fits the aesthetic.
Yeah.
And you'll see millions of these things out there everywhere. These days, it's not difficult to get. You used to have a really decent vocal mic. These are all based on those, but at a much more affordable price point. And they do fine.
Yeah.
They're okay. If I was doing voiceovers for $1 million ad, I might not use my Rode Pod mic for that, if I could say it that way.
Yeah.
But these are pretty decent. You need something that these plug into, which is either a recorder of sorts or a mixer of sorts. Again, Rode made it really easy. They make these kits where the gear is all in one, so you can record, monitor, listen to everything all in one. All goes into a nice little package. That's the type of gear you need.
Okay. And in this studio, what range of equipment have we got here?
Well, we've got all sorts.
Can we go
we've
super
got
budge and then full bells and whistles?
yeah. So
This would be our entry level, though, right? This is
Well,
you
this
don't
is
get
our-
more budget than this.
yeah, we wouldn't recommend going more budget. We do have
Oh, there must be diminishing returns at some point for
Yeah.
a podcast.
yeah. And look, if you don't like the podcast look and you don't want to see microphones, then we can do that too. We've got various different options of technical stuff we can do that you don't have to see the microphone.
Yeah.
This, for most podcasters, is the easiest way to run a podcast because you've got a decent sized microphone really close to somebody's face.
Yeah.
It's easy to do. When you're trying to hide microphones, that's where everything starts
I
going.
feel like this.
Mike's always like it's in the way, it's digging in, or it's falling in, or it gets rustled in the garment.
Yeah.
So there's faff.
There's faff, and you need a professional behind it to make sure you've got the right connection. Like we do stickies, so we stick it to your skin, and then you got to have the right skin
Yeah,
sticky, or you got to have a cloth sticky, or you got to feather it. Or there's professionals will know how to do it well. That's the point. But that's extra effort if you don't want the podcast look.
Yeah.
You know.
I find this helps having this mic here. For some reason, it feels less awkward.
Yeah.
Like we've done this before with no mic, and like
Yeah.
your hands. I don't know. It just
What do I
feel
do with
like
my
you don't know
hands?
it-
Yeah.
Even though this doesn't affect what I do with my hands.
Yeah.
It's just it feels like there's something on the table. I'm
Yes.
talking into something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a security blanket almost. It
Yeah.
feels like.
It helps because it's also in our brains of that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, maybe maybe I just feel like a podcast.
Yeah, it's the same as when you stand in front of a crowd, whether you need a podium or not.
Yes.
Yes.
It's nice to have it.
Yeah.
It's that kind of effect. But it's also from a technical point of view, having a big microphone that's closer to somebody's face means I can record individuals' voices really easy. When we're using lapels, there's this tiny little diaphragm in those things. That's why they're also so expensive. But you're never going to get the quality versus a cheaper, bigger mic.
Yeah. Is
at
this
the end of the day. directional?
Is this like aiming this way?
Yeah, so this is. I have to check the specs of the mic.
Sorry.
We should ask the technical guy.
It's
Technical boy.
it would be I haven't looked at the specs of this mic, but I think it's a cardioid, which means that
the old cardioid.
which means the pickup pattern is focused in front. If you think about it of a balloon, it like comes in like that, so it rejects audio from behind to a point.
Yeah.
And different microphones are shaped differently to create different shapes of pickup pattern. What we call it, yeah. So yeah, this picks up kind of around my face. If you shout, it'll hear you. But the idea is that I'll be louder in my own mic. And that brings me to the headphone thing.
Yeah.
If you're in a conversation like this, it doesn't make sense to me to be sitting with the cans in my head so that I could hear you. I can hear you just fine. It just makes me look funny.
Cool. Yeah.
I don't know.
Debatable.
Debatable. And some people love it. And I know podcasts that do it fake. They just put the headphones on, which is ridiculous. But
then you just wouldn't hear it all, surely.
Well, they're not that good headphones. Look, but there is a reason they wear headphones when you're starting to do fancy stuff and play in other sources, and you don't want that source to come into your microphone and out the speakers and the thing and create feedback loops, and you want to isolate other sources.
And also guests that aren't in the room around the table, if those guests are
remote.
Remote on a video call or whatever.
Yeah, if they don't have speakers, then headphones might be an option if you really have to. But I like to see somebody's face
unheadphoned.
Yeah. It's just really ridiculous to me when it's not necessary.
Okay.
You know, when it comes from, podcasts come from a radio background. And in a radio scenario where my voice is what I make my money out of, I want to hear myself.
Yeah.
So that I know if I'm too close to the microphone or I'm too far from the microphone or if I'm talking sideways or I want to adjust my performance and do something what's called mic technique. Voiceover artists, really important to have cans on so that you can hear what you are doing. If you're doing a solo podcast, you will only find if you've made a mistake or bumped something or something afterwards.
Yeah,
because you're solo.
Because you've now
we've got a pile of people with cans on at the background listening and going, "Hey,
you're too close to the mic, whatever."
Yeah, you're buggering us up. Please behave like an adult. You know. So it doesn't make sense in our setting, and we want a nice picture.
Yeah,
because this is not a radio show.
Yeah,
we care about what it looks like.
I think it also makes a difference when we are deciding what kind of show is being produced, what kind of gear is selected, right? That's a decision that's made according to the show. If it's audio only, we'll have gear that's right for that.
Yeah.
If we've got multiple guests, if we're doing video,
and
different gear again.
You know, what are we doing? Are we producing a true crime podcast where the voice artist, the microphone is an extension of their instrument. So they want to monitor it. Totally understand. But Rich, if I give you cans, you wouldn't know what you're listening to except yourself, and you would freak yourself out.
To be clear, I don't necessarily want them. I just
you sounded like you really wanted
headphones. My headphones, yeah. I came quite aggressive about that. Maybe I'll wear some next time just to see what it's like.
See if we can get a sponsor badge. In that.
And then just in terms, we've spoken quite a lot about audio and video. Now, what are we running here? How many cameras?
Okay, so video.
I can see, but will you?
Yeah, so let's start with what we've done, because at the end of the day, a camera is a camera, right? It's got to capture a good image. What we've gone for is a mid-range cinema camera.
Okay.
I don't know if I should mention brands, because then we'll have a whole discussion out there about brands. But
that's
really,
all right. They can hit us up in the comments section after they smash the like button.
Smash it now. Yeah, so we've got Sony FX30s. We've got which is a small cinema camera. The reason we particularly chose those is because we don't just do podcasts. We do a whole bunch of other stuff too.
Yeah.
But the point is have a decent camera that can get a decent picture. Along with cameras comes lenses. We've got Sigma glass on these cameras. We've got Sony glass on the one. We've got a 3-camera setup. One's on a motorized slider that goes up and down, and then we've got 2 close-up cameras.
Yeah.
We could do more cameras. That's
Again,
great.
it's going to come down to how many guests there are.
Yeah, but I don't know how many angles of
Yeah.
Rich I really want in my show.
Well, I mean, that's a
All
point.
of them. I think that if we were showing things or had, I don't know, stuff on the table, drawings or documents we need to show people, another camera would.
Yeah, so a very popular camera is a top down.
Top down, yeah.
Especially if you're doing stuff on the table. But then it's the amount of guests.
Yeah.
So a lot of cost when we're producing multiple talk style stuff is how many guests. Because what we've done now is we're trying to do it with bare minimum just to prove a point. We've got 3 cameras, 3 guests. But technically you always want camera per guest plus 1.
Okay.
So that would be close up, wide shot.
Yeah.
For your master scene or your master shot. So that's generally a rule of thumb. So what we've done now is we've got a nice close up on you and a 2-shot of us so that we can get a little bit of proximity.
That's why we're sitting so close.
Yeah. And then we've got the wide shot and the slider because it's so cool and
Yeah.
okay. And it's a really, really simple setup, but it's simple to us. It's not always simple to.
Well, I think that is the
everybody
whole
else.
point of Hi-Ho is that you've got to, there's so much when you are entering into this world of podcasts, there's so much to unpack and unravel. And it's really is overwhelming if you've not done it before.
Yeah.
If you are trying to produce great content, you know you need it, you want to do it, the barrier to entry for really good quality is immense.
Yeah.
And
for good quality.
absolutely. Look, I'm not talking about ring light, iPhone, off you go. Because you can do that. I'm talking about a setup that is going to be impressive and is going to mirror the quality content that you're producing. So, I think it's important that, the reason we've done this is so that we take the guesswork out of a simple setup.
Yeah.
And creating a podcast with very little fuss. Obviously, you've got to have great content and that's going to be your side of the project. But, we come with the gear, we come with the team, the professionals behind this because, we've spoken about the machinery, the hardware.
Yeah, but it's the
hardware,
people too.
But, the technical people behind that is also very important.
And I think you're touching on something that's really important to me is people often ask me, but I could do this on my cell phone.
Yeah.
And I go, yeah, the phones these days got brilliant image quality. But do you know how difficult it is to shoot a multi-camera setup on a cell phone?
You can't really shoot a multi-camera.
Well, you can.
Multi-cell
Well, look, Lady Gaga did it.
Yeah, you can. But here's the thing.
Did she?
Did.
We'll come back to that.
Yes. Look, it is totally possible. I'm not saying you can't. You can make a feature film on a cell phone.
Yeah, it's a mission.
But it's an absolute mission.
Yeah.
The better the gear, actually what we're doing is making it much easier to produce a better product. More can go wrong with a cell phone than with a pro camera that's actually designed to do the job.
Yeah.
It's like, I always tell clients, well, how much risk do you want to take on? The cheaper we can do it, the more risk we need to be able to absorb.
Also with this setup, with this multi-camera setup, with the monitor that Stefan's sitting behind and all of those sorts of things, you can edit live, right?
Yeah.
So the editing process is not this painful post-production thing.
Yeah. And also, who's going to do that if you are ring light, iPhone camera story?
Yeah, you've got to do it, and it's painful.
Yeah.
I've done it so much. Like we shoot some of those videos at the office, and it's quite painful to edit.
Yeah.
But I'm talking more just in terms of like what Hi-Ho can offer.
Yeah.
Is that you get your footage quite quickly. There's no fuss.
It's a lot of quick turnaround time. There's lots of options. We can cut live, we can broadcast live, we can stream live.
Yeah.
So that means everything: graphics, sound effects, applause, whatever we want can go in live. It just depends again. What do you want?
What do you want
out of it? If there needs to be a little post production because there's some special element or something, got really fast turnaround because we've got the support of the Schultz Creative
Yeah.
and the production people behind that. And that makes a successful, sustainable podcast. That's very little pain for the customer to produce.
Yeah. The biggest thing that I've always struggled with, because I can edit, I can film, I've got a bit of experience doing that kind of thing, but it's lighting.
Yeah.
And no one thinks about that.
Mm.
I mean, I don't think the audience can see, well, if we've done our job right, they can't see the lights. But there's a lot going on here, and lights take the emission to set up. And there's also like, there's techniques. Like you don't just stick a light in there. Like there's backlights and there's rim lights and there's, I mean, I'm just saying words.
You're throwing out some great phrases there.
Yeah.
We've got lanterns too.
Lanterns. There's this blimp over here.
Yeah, that's a lantern.
Is that a lantern?
it's a
Not a blimp.
No.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, so lighting's critical importance.
But that's you can't really reproduce that without proper lights.
No. And here's the problem with lighting is space.
Yeah.
It is really hard to light when you don't have a space where there's space to put light.
Yeah.
Look, there is ways to do that, but that gets even more complicated. So having decent light sources is really important. Nothing says amateur like bad lighting.
And it's the hardest thing to make not look amateur. Like
yes.
You can even tell if a movie's had an amateur lighting person. It just looks homemade.
Yeah. And I mean, look, we've got a really basic setup for this. But you could spend 2 days lighting.
Yeah, but it's the experience, knowing where to put the lights.
Yeah.
And stuff like creates the depth and creates the nice shadow and the focus and all of that. I find lighting particularly difficult to do well.
Yeah.
And it's actually what we spend the most time setting up.
Well,
always.
Yeah, that setup word there is key. You know, I think the things that happen behind the scenes before the actual sitting and recording and chatting happens is the stuff that takes so long. So you say, okay, I want to record for a day. It's the time before that for all that setup and the time after that for breakdown that takes up a huge amount of time.
And space.
And, you know, again, these are all the problems that everyone is having. And that's why this is existing. It's so that you can literally just pitch up, sit down, little bit of makeup, off you go.
You don't want to be investing in camera gear that works once a week.
Yeah, but Carl, let me tell you, it's the temptation, right, to be able to produce content at a rate that makes sense for the needs of our marketing teams these days, right? They're just, please, more content, more content, more content.
Yeah.
So the temptation is, okay, I want to invest, I want to build this myself. And then when I can grab an executive, I can plop them in a chair, hit the record button, and I can make the content. Right? So all I'm saying, I'm not saying that that's what they must do. I agree with you, but
that's why
I'm saying that's why they're asking for it. That's what the need is.
Yeah. So
the need is to be able to produce content at scale.
Yeah.
And that's why this setup, that's why Ha-Ho has been developed in such a way that we can replicate that system.
And it's just too costly. I mean, if you think about, let's say it cost R1 million to set up a studio like this. Now, most corporates aren't going to put that kind of money into building their own studio. Sure, some big companies do, and then they can also afford to employ people. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the average guys that want to make something. So they end up investing in cheaper gear, making it much harder for an amateur to get something of quality.
Yeah.
Instead of going, hey, R1 million over the next 5 years, we wouldn't even spend a fraction of that if we used a professional facility like this. And it's half the risk or a tenth of the risk. And we just walk in and walk out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No hassles. Never mind the overheads on a space in an office. Like what business can do that anymore?
Yeah.
You know, just have a spare space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I think the challenge is that content is required and demanded at such a rate and frequency these days that we've got to find systems that will allow us to produce it in a cost-effective way.
Yeah.
And that's why we've built what we've built at Hi-Ho with the gear that we have got.
Yeah.
With the space that we've made available, so that people can, like you say, just arrive, shoot for a day, leave, content done.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, you're not forking the bill for the gear. We're responsible for the investment of the gear, the insurance and the gear.
I was going to say the insurance is a whole other story. Yeah.
So, I mean, we're covering all that, and and we can get a huge volume of clients in, or a large amount of clients in that shares that economy. And that's why we can also do it so affordably, is because you're not the only client. We haven't bought all the gear just for you. And because we're clumping creating a product that is pretty similar, the collection of gear we have works across multiple clients. And that's what makes the gear affordable to us. I mean, we use it all the time. I mean, this stuff is working day in and day out. So we're also very incentivized to have the best stuff and to keep up to date with the latest technology and make sure that we do all those things. It's our job. We that's what we're good at. We love doing it.
Okay. I think that's pretty much everything from a technical. Is there any other piece of tech I've missed out? We've got the set.
Well, it's the lights, camera, sound, right? Those are the things. But what's in between there is other things, well, the bits and bobs,
and editing software,
and the post-production.
Post-production stuff.
I mean, post has become a lot easier in some senses and a lot harder in others. Software has become really good. A lot of people have turned to AI now to cut podcasts.
I've tried that.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a.
It's just it's fun.
It's okay.
Yeah.
The thing is, you can see.
Yeah.
Right. The resulting content is. Average.
I just I know it's incredible what it's actually doing. But for whatever reason, I just expected more.
Yeah, look,
I expect it to be better.
And to be honest, I think where the technology is now,
it's
super cool.
It's super cool, and it's rapid. Like in a year's time, I'll probably be saying something. But
yes.
Right now, while I'm dealing with it, I feel like I'm dealing with an absolute idiot.
Yeah, the AI tools that we use in the professional side in the software is getting better and better.
Yeah,
like DaVinci, Resolve, those guys that use that AI is developing to a point where it's actually usable.
Yeah.
Where I find all these consumer-facing editing stuff is like upload your clip and then go try trim that thing.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. What I could do in 30 seconds on an edit suite on my uploaded web thing, I might as well have just started off.
I wasted a lot of time trying to do it in AI and then just putting it in Premiere and doing it there. Yeah. A week later, very frustrated and
cross
and a bit cross.
You should ask us to do it next time.
Yeah,
but I think that's where AI is at the moment.
Yeah,
and I think it's going to make massive strides in the next few years.
Yeah,
like we were saying, just from graphical processing power. Oh my goodness, what NVIDIA is doing with AI is they're only rendering every 1 in 10 pixels these days because AI can do the rest.
Wow.
It's incredible. So the next generation of graphics cards, for example, will change the game, and we'll be able to edit 1 million K footage in our edit suites. But technology changes all the time. Yeah. So if you want to invest in gear, I would say rent first, right?
Well, the rate at which it's changing it. To buy it, you'd be locking yourself in.
You lock yourself. Unless you're doing what we're doing, and we do this professionally.
Well, you're going to replace stuff when there's something better.
Yeah, we for us, that's our job. We buy gear. We love gear. We have what we call gear fever. The gear guys get gear fever, and we buy stuff that we don't need. But at least I know in my business, all that stuff makes me money somewhere.
Yeah.
Where, I just feel a lot of people buy gear for the sake of buying gear, and it's just a waste of money.
Yeah, well, they think they know what they need. They will go and buy it. Like you say, they're then locked into that. Before you know it, that gear's old.
Yeah, or redundant. Or not the right tool.
It's wasted money.
It's wasted money.
It's wasted money.
We make, like I said earlier, made our decisions on our cameras based on, yes, we're doing podcasts, but we're doing other stuff too. So we needed something that's a bit of a multi-tool. If
Yeah.
you're just doing podcasts, there's probably aren't the cameras I'd pick, you know. And maybe when you come to Hi-Ho Studios in the future, you're going to see very different gear here because the volumes are up. But it's a really difficult decision to make if you know nothing about it in the first place.
100%.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't be spending money like that. You should be spending money on your content. You know, producing good content, not producing great looking gear and a bad product.
All right, thanks, guys. That's I think we've discussed all the gear we possibly could. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you on the next episode.